Hi, this is Mike Halloran, and this presentation is for parents who have a son or daughter in one of my backpacking classes this fall. We offer an optional backpacking trip with this class, and there are a lot of kids that have commitments in the fall. So kids that aren't allowed to go or aren't able to go, it doesn't hurt their grade if they're not able to make this trip. But kids who have a free weekend on October 5th through the 7th, this is a great opportunity for them to check out some areas of the North Shore, the Superior Hiking Trail, and have that outdoor experience that they maybe have never had. So anybody without any camping or backpacking experience can be very successful on this trip because we cover a lot of what they need to do in the class. And so it's a great opportunity. I've been doing these trips for about 14 years, and it's been really one of the highlights for kids who are able to go. We're going to be heading up to the North Shore, and we'll actually see the entire North Shore on this trip. And we'll be staying 2 nights at Temperance River State Park. All right, the purpose of this trip is to provide an outdoor experience for students that combines all the skills we learned in class. And again, no experience necessary. And then introduce our kids to the Superior Hiking Trail, which is one of the most popular backpacking destinations in our state, in our area. And then also check out some of the most scenic state parks in our state. So again, optional trip. Kids who don't go on the trip will just do an assignment back at school on the 7th, the day we'll be returning from the trip, and it doesn't impact their grade at all. Our itinerary for Saturday, October 5th, we're going to start early and load everything up at 6 o'clock on the east side of the school. We'll be taking a school bus and a trailer, and I'll be driving the bus, so we don't have the expense of having a driver from our transportation department on the clock the entire weekend. So we'll load everything. The kids will put their food in coolers, pack all their gear, their tents, everything else, all the clothes that they need, sleeping bags and everything. And once we get loaded up, hopefully we'll be able to leave around 6:30. We'll stop at Duluth for a bathroom break and then arrive at the Superior Hiking Trail. Starting point is kind of near Britton Peak, and at that point I'll run the bus and trailer down to the campground, Temperance River State Park, and then by the time I get back up, we'll hopefully leave around start our hike around 12. It's a 6-mile hike, and we'll hike to Carlton Peak and then down to Temperance River State Park and check out all the scenery along the way. So a 6-mile hike, it's not too bad. There's a little bit of elevation change. The hardest part is the first mile and a half or so, but the kids won't be carrying all their gear on their back. We used to do that. I used to have my classes do that, but it was pretty hard for a lot of kids to do it, especially when we had challenging weather conditions. So this is a little more user friendly. The kids still get their backpacking experience and kind of see what the hiking trails are all about. But they're carrying a lighter pack with some snacks and some water. So a small backpack is all they need for this particular hike. About 1 o'clock, we'll arrive at Carlton Peak, which is one of the highest points on the Superior Hiking Trail. Very, impressive views of Lake Superior and the Superior National Forest. And then we'll hike down and check out some of the waterfalls down by Temperance River State Park along the way, and probably arrive around 4 o'clock. Kids will have a campsite assigned to them, and so they'll grab their gear, their coolers, and they'll go to their campsite, set everything up, and cook dinner whenever they're ready. And then I'll get them firewood, and they will relax around the fire and check out Lake Superior. And then about 11 o'clock, we'll get them in their tents for the evening. Because they'll need their sleep for the next day. In case you haven't been up to this area, the Superior Hiking Trail goes from Duluth all the way up to the Canadian border. We'll be hiking parts of it on the first day right here by Tofty. And then the second day, we'll drive all the way up to the Grand Portage State Park right up here. We'll do a couple day hikes there. We'll hike Judge Magny State Park. Couple spots in here. The Candunes River is right about here. And then Cascade will be our last stop. Then we'll drive down to Temperance River State Park for the evening. A little closer view of our first day. Temperance River State Park is here. We'll drive up here to the Sawbill Trail, stop in this parking lot. I'll unload the kids right here, drive down to the Temperance River State Park, drop off the bus. We'll hike up to Carlton Peak, and then we'll hike down here along the waterfalls to our campground. Here's a view from Carlton Peak looking south, so they get to see a lot of really cool sights. This time of year, the colors should be changing, so we'll hopefully get some good views of the fall colors. Temperance River has a number of waterfalls that we can get real close to. Kids, it's a great opportunity for kids to take pictures and see some really cool sights. And then the Temperance River eventually flows down to Lake Superior, right by our campground, which is right here. Okay, so we'll be staying on Lake Superior for 2 days. Second day, Sunday, it's a long day, a lot of hiking, so we'll get up early. Kids will make breakfast on their own. We'll take off for Grand Portage probably around 8 o'clock. When we get to Grand Portage, we'll do a 1-day hike, quick day hike up to Mount Rose where they can view Isle Royale and a few other things from that vantage point. And then we'll drive up to the Pigeon Falls to check out the largest waterfall in the state, or the tallest waterfall in the state. We'll leave there. We'll stop at Judge Magny around noon, and we'll do a day hike to the Devil's Kettle and a couple other waterfalls. That's probably our longest hike of the second day. And then we'll stop at Camden's River for a day hike to see some canyons. Last stop will be Cascade River State Park. Check out all the waterfalls there. Probably get back to the campground around 6 o'clock. Again, same plan. Kids will cook dinner, relax around the fire, and then lights out around 11. So here's some pictures of some of the areas on their day 2 experience. Grand Portage State Park, Pigeon Falls. This is Canada over here. This is Minnesota. Depending on how much rain, this will be flowing either a little more or a little less. But they really enjoyed, kids in the past have really enjoyed checking out this waterfall. At Judge Magny, this is part of the Superior Hiking Trail, these series of stairs that go down. We get actually going to hike right back over here where the waterfalls are. That's where the Devil's Kettle is. So this is our longest hike of the day. We get real close to some of these waterfalls. And then Cascade it's a pretty easy hike. Has a number of waterfalls as well, kind of finish off our first day. Then the last day, the Monday, the day that we'll miss school, we'll get up early. Hopefully weather will cooperate and we'll be able to see a good sunrise on Lake Superior. Kids will have a real quick light breakfast and load the trailer. Then we'll head out around 7. Stop around Moose Lake for a bathroom and a food stop. So the kids will need to bring some money if they want to buy some food. There's a couple of fast food restaurants there. They can grab something to eat. Then we'll get back on the road and hopefully get back to Eden Prairie High School no later than 2:30. We sometimes we'll even get back around 1 o'clock depending on traffic and everything. But we need to be back in time to beat the buses so we don't get in the way there. Sunrise on Lake Superior is kind of neat. This is from a couple years ago. We got a good view of it coming up. Really kind of a nice highlight for the kids. So the trip itself costs $100 per student, and if that's an issue, just let me know. We have some resources we could tap into to cover the costs. But that covers the bus and trailer rental from our transportation department. It covers the fuel for the bus, campground fees, the firewood we get for the kids, and then some supplies. So the kids, I'll provide them their groups with stoves and fuel, and then any other equipment that they can't come up with on their own. So students will need to bring everything they can possibly bring to, for this trip. It's kind of a logistical nightmare if I outfit the kids. I do have some equipment available, so if there's something they need, all they got to do is let me know. But tents, sleeping bags, rain gear, flashlight, water bottle, good walking shoes, hiking boots. They don't have to have hiking boots, but, good walking shoes are kind of a nice thing to have. They can get by with tennis shoes too. Warm clothes, portable cell phone charger, and then they'll plan their food with their group in class or whenever they can get together on their own. I'll send an equipment list home to parents. The kids will also receive this. And then anybody that has any equipment needs, they can just let me know. We'll do a lot of class prep for this trip. So there's a number of things we'll do. So again, the kids that have never hiked or backpacked before or camped, we'll go over a lot of things that they need to know to be successful in this trip. I've had a lot of kids. This is the first trip they've ever been on, and it's been a really good experience for them. So we'll cover a lot of these things in class. Trip rules, I'll just kind of highlight a couple here. Main thing is I'll have some other chaperones with me, and if there's any parents that are available that weekend that would like to join us, just feel free to contact me. I'd love to have you come along. We usually have about one chaperone for every 8 or 9 kids. And so the chaperones have their own campsite. Kids are right around us in their own campsites, and so they always know where we're at. I make trips around on a regular basis to check on each group, and so they're never alone. And then big thing too, the kids know this. I've gone through all these rules with them. There's no co-ed tents, and so each night I'll do a check, make sure everybody's in the correct tent. And it's never been an issue before, but the kids know that's an expectation of this trip. Another thing is since this is a school-sponsored trip, there's no alcohol, tobacco, or controlled substances. That includes vaping. So that's the big one. We've really not had any issues on these trips. About 10 years ago, we had some kids that made some bad choices and received some pretty severe consequences. So I've gone over that with the kids as well. And any students that have a history of making bad choices with some of these substances, they are not allowed to come on the trip. And then any students that demonstrate that they can't be trusted and they make bad choices in class will not be allowed to come on the trip either. So there's a vetting process that the kids go through. And so I expect all the kids that are able to come on this trip, that want to come on this trip, are really good at following directions and making good choices. I've never had any issues where kids have used these substances from my classes, and I don't expect to. I think I've got a really good group of kids. Let's see, I will send a rules form, medical form, and permission form home to parents. I could print hard copies for the kids too if you need it. And so that'll be something that you'll return to me before the trip. I'll go over that here shortly. I need to make sure I point out some of these consequences, the major rules violations. So again, using any chemicals, making choices that put other kids at risk of injury, those would all be major rules violations. And so our administration developed this policy a few years back. What I need to do is call parents immediately, let them know what happened, and then also arrange transportation home as soon as possible. In the event that immediate transportation is not available, custody of the students will be transferred to the state or county police. I also need to make sure I call either the state or county police to issue a possession and consumption citation. So those are all things we have to follow through if there's a bad choice that's made. I've never had to do this, and I don't expect I will, but I just need to make sure to point out that that's the policy that I need to follow on these trips. The deadline for signing up is going to be a week from this Friday, so the 20th, and that's when the medical permission and rules form are due. And again, I'll email those home, and also the payment as well. Checks can be made out to Eden Prairie High School or EPHS. If anybody has any questions, feel free to call me. Feel free to email me. Emailing me is probably the best. There's no limit to how many questions you can ask. Not all this information that I tell the kids in class I know makes it home. So feel free to email me, call me, and I will definitely get back to you. So thanks for watching. And again, I'll be doing a lot of prep with the kids over the next couple weeks. And hopefully we get a number of kids that are able to make it. But thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.